Hello, everyone. Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, we'll be doing a review for Daredevil Cold Day in Hell #1. This is a new book from Marvel Comics. This is with a story by Charles Soule and Steve McNiven, dialogue by Charles Soule, art by Steve McNiven, letters by Clayton Cowell. Now, this is kind of an out of continuity story. So if you're wary of that, think of this kind of like a maybe Nels Worlds or an Old Man Logan type of thing. I wish I talked about this before, and I'll get into the review in a second. I wish Marvel had an imprint similar to DC Black Label to very easily differentiate between stuff that's happening and stuff that's specifically canon, kind of like they have a separation between the normal universe and the DC universe. I mean the normal universe and the Ultimate Universe. But regardless, uh, this book was fantastic. So let me give you a quick synopsis, and we'll get into the review itself. After a horrific series of events, the world is in shambles. Matt Murdock is old, and his powers have faded to nothing. Matt will not, however, sit by and watch his fellow New Yorkers suffer, so instead of swinging around the city with his Billy Club line, he's laying soup at the food center for the poor. But when a mysterious, wrinkly old man interrupts a secret convoy causing an explosion, a deadly gas fills Hell's Kitchen, and this tale takes a turn that will change how you look at the Men Without Fear. So if you've been kind of keeping up and with the lives and everything, I've really been into Daredevil books. I recently read The Men Without Fear for a comic book club. We also recently read Daredevil Born Again. I'm catching up in the current Daredevil, and of course, if you're watching our reviews weekly for Daredevil Born Again, the TV series, very much. I just love Daredevil. He's a great character, and a story like this, really, we have just such a great team. I mean, Charles Soule, terrific scribe, but Steve McNiven just really adds something to this world of like a little bit of the gravitas. He draws Matt as old, but not like a. It's not a caricature of an old person. It just looks like somebody that has lived a rough life, that's weathered, but they're still trying to, the whole world itself, as McNiven draws it, just looks bleak and grim, and you would believe that something terrible has happened. The world itself is just, there's so much going on. There's a really interesting way that McNiven's doing paneling here. Like, there are some things that Matt, although he doesn't have his powers, just because of that doesn't mean that he still doesn't notice things about around the city. So there are like some smaller panels that kind of highlight some of the things that Matt is noticing around with his other senses. There's an interesting conversation, but then there's some really big reveals. And, I think that Matt Murdock is definitely a fighter, right? Whether he has his powers or not, whether he's able to tell whatever's going on. And then, of course, with this explosion and this change, I just, you never know what's going to happen. And it's done in such a cool way. I love the idea of this book, of having Daredevil maybe have one more fight in him. Charles Soule tells a great story here. Everything just really adds up, and there's a lot of high stakes here. There's a lot of Easter eggs. Charles Soule has written a long run of Daredevil, so he's very familiar with the character. He's also a lawyer, so also very familiar with lawyering. Um, and like I mentioned, Stephen McNiven just one of the best at doing this sort of story, where it needs to be, you need to get down and gritty, and there's a lot of fights and a lot of movement, and it's just very dynamic, especially a character like Matt Murdock. Even though he is, even though he's older, there's still a lot of fight left in this boy from Hell's Kitchen. Who are these adversaries? Who is still around in a support? And then just whenever you think that things cannot get any more messed up, the team manages to surprise you at every single turn. So this is very exciting. This is going to be a three issue story. The issues are around 32 pages, and then in the back of the book, you get to see a little bit of the script, a little bit of how the team kind of put the book together, which is very interesting. I love when we have some nice little back matter. The coloring itself, I haven't seen McNiven do his own colors in a little while, and it just really works. Like everything just looks like dirty, and you can almost smell and feel the grime of the city, the pollution, this deadly gas just kind of happening. And I think that that the other part that really adds to this book is the narration that we get from Matt all throughout, because it really works. I think that Claim Calls does such a good job with the lettering and the word balloon placement, because this is a very dynamic book, as a Daredevil story should be. So, yeah, the last page of this, it will just leave you wanting more. But then again, we have to wait for 2 more issues. So I might do these monthly if it's only going to be 3. Um, but this is going to read great as a collection as well. So if you're somebody that for whatever reason can't get to the shop right now, make sure to put this on your list or ask your shop to give you the collection once it's done. I bet this is going to be collected in a really, really cool way. So if you have read this book, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.